back, rocking and rolling, kicking it with you right here on a Wednesday hump day on the hottest show on the streets, the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Happy to have you all in here. As always, we bring you the show from the Magic City of Birmingham. We stream this to you via YouTube. And speaking of a channel, you go ahead right now, stop whatever you're doing, you hit that subscribe button right now. Tap that subscribe button, get everybody that you know to subscribe, and also share the show. Share it on every major platform you have with everybody that you know, diehard Bama fans, casual Bama fans, consumers of Bama football, family, friends, little Mo from across the street, whoever you know, share the show with everybody, because if you're feeling the content, guess what? They will also. Don't forget to tap that like button. Give us a thumbs up right there. Hit that like button. We appreciate that support. Trying to get the show 50 likes out the gate to start right here. Thanks to you guys hitting that like button. Also, that daily super chat goal, $100 daily super chat goal, $100 right there. We appreciate you guys. Also, tap that notification bell so you miss absolutely nothing when it comes down to your Bama football content. But we have a lot to get to, a lot to discuss, a lot of fun to be had, and we want to hear from you, the passionate fans of Bama football. You can do this by calling 205-448-1358, the number to call in. Let your voice be made known. Number also on the screen there, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. But right now, John Ivor, we're going to get into topic number one of the conversation as we continue to flow through the off-season. Month of June almost over, July creeping its way in. But we start things off with quarterback room for Alabama, and in particular here, Jalen Milroe. Is he that guy? Is he that dude here for Alabama in terms of the starting quarterback that can take this team with a lot of pieces, all the talent's right there, the hunger is right there, the coaching staff is right there, you know, all the pieces needing to win a national championship. But is Jalen Milroe that guy that can take this team and lead it to a Southeastern Conference championship, and then right along with that, the college football playoff and a CFP national championship? Well, on Tuesday, yesterday, you know, guys at the Bama Standard, there was a show, and Darius Stewart, former Alabama receiver, was featured on it. He was there. Awesome getting a chance to talk to A.D. Stewart, you know, former Alabama receiver, 2015 college football playoff national champion. And one of his bold predictions was that Jalen Milroe will have a breakout year. And he called him a real dog, straight up dog. Let this man play. Trust this guy. Believe in this guy. Give him a fair chance, a fair opportunity. Mold this guy. Let him be him. He's that dude. He a dog. This is what Darius Stewart was saying concerning one Jalen Milroe. And let him grow even through the mistakes that he may have. So we're seeing here a former player, former wide receiver, who got a chance to look at Blake Sims in 2014, become a single-season passing record holder. A lot of people didn't think that Blake Sims would be the guy. A lot of people wrote him off, but he won the job in the fall of 2014, and he took that group to a magical run, getting it to an SEC championship, the inaugural college football playoff, and nearly a national championship. This is the same Darius Stewart who played with Jacob Coker in 2015. We remember Coker got benched the early part of the year. The game against Ole Miss, Alabama started Cooper Bateman that year in that game, and don't necessarily know why that happened, but Coker ended up taking the job back. He won the team over because of his play, trucking over a Texas A&M defensive back, and from there, Stewart watched him grow and grow and grow in confidence. And what happened? Coker leads you to an SEC championship and a national championship in 2015. And of course, 2016, nobody thought Coach Saban would ever start a true freshman quarterback, but Jalen Hurts became the guy, the man, and he takes Alabama to SEC championship in 2016. You win that, and you get to the college football playoff, and you get so close to beating Clemson to win a national. Unfortunately, the Tigers had Deshaun Watson on their side of the football. But, our Darius Stewart played with all three of those guys, and he sees the same type of the same caliber of player, the same caliber of leadership, the same caliber of toughness, the same caliber of swagger, the same caliber of dog mentality when he looks at or when he views one Jalen Milroe. And if you got to be honest with yourself here, last year Milroe wasn't terrible. He wasn't bad. And the opportunities that he got, he wasn't bad last year. He came in relief of an injured Bryce Young against Arkansas, and he did what he was supposed to do. He went out there, he showed you the athleticism with his legs, a 77-yard run, big play there, total 91 yards rushing, 65 yards passing. He did have 2 touchdowns, so he showed you the ability. He showed you the tools. He showed you the skills, and he showed you if you provide him with a full offseason of him getting the first team reps and the majority of those reps, and you work with him and maybe provide him with an offensive coordinator that understands kind of his skill set and what he wants to do, and not necessarily having the offensive coordinator that tries to have him do what Bryce Young was doing. And maybe, just maybe, you have yourself a quarterback here. So Milroe wasn't terrible last year. If you go back to the Texas A&M game and all the pressure he was under just due to he's being taxed to you're replacing Bryce for this entire game. Bryce didn't play. And now in a game that was so hyped up going into the year, you play this game, but Jalen Milroe does have 3 touchdown passes. And he put the ball dead on the money. Yes, he did have 2 fumbles. People always go back to that. Much like people go back to in 2019, that Iron Bowl, though Mac Jones had 4 touchdown passes, people always brought up, but he also had 2 pick sixes. But this is the same Mac Jones that the very next year, 2020, took you on a perfect undefeated national season of a national championship. Now, am I saying that Jalen Milroe is going to have the same numbers that Mac Jones has? No, that's not what I'm saying. However, I am painting the picture that the young man wasn't awful last year. He does provide you something. He does provide you with big athleticism, big playmaking ability. Defenses have to account for his legs. They have to be able to spy on him and look at him. And he did make strides in spring in the passing game, throwing the football, and he's taken those same strides. And this entire offseason, he's been at work, whether it's been at Tampa, Florida, wherever he's been at, taking wide receivers with him down to these different areas, and he's been working on his passing. He's been growing his ability in the pocket. He's been growing that pocket presence. He's been growing that footwork within the pocket. He's been growing, having that time clock in his head about at what moment do I need to get rid of this ball, throw the ball, give my guys, my receivers a chance to make plays out there on the field. Now, our Darius Stewart did mention, and he's absolutely right about this, that Milroe's going to have to be more in that pocket more, hang more in that pocket more, knowing when to let that ball go, when it's time to let that ball go. Absolutely, yes, he does. But he does possess the tools. And he's put in a lot of work this offseason to improve and get better there with that passing ability. Now, I think Coach Saban is going to give this young man every opportunity to succeed here. He's going to give him every chance to succeed. Now, the question becomes, does Nick Saban do Jalen Milroe like he did with Blake Sims? That even with Sims, if a mistake was made, you don't just instantly pull him. You let him grow and learn from those mistakes and get better from those mistakes and show himself more so set to fight through that adversity from those mistakes, or do you just yank him out after he throws an interception or two? That's going to be interesting to see this year is even if Milroe makes a mistake, what is Coach Saban's resolve? Do you stick with the guy? Do you stay by the guy? Or do you pull the guy or yank the guy? In my opinion, I feel like Coach Saban's going to give Jalen Milroe every opportunity to succeed because it kind of just feels like he wants the guy to get this job. He wants the guy to be the starter. Guys work this tail off. Guy has gotten everybody in this locker room to believe and buy in on him. I think he's that guy. Our Darius Stewart feels like Jalen Milroe is that dude. He's that guy. But, man, when fall camp gets in here, we will see once and for all, is he that guy for this team? But we take our first break here on the show. On Touch That Dial, we're just getting started here. Upon our return, we go to the phone lines. We get your calls, your thoughts, your conversations. I mean, what do you feel like? Do you think Jalen Milroe is that guy for this team? We have a message board here. TouchdownAlabama.com. Message board. If you're trying to help us grow the message board, definitely jump in there, get a conversation started, get a topic going. Let us know about what you're feeling when it comes down to your Crimson Tide football, and hit us up in the call segment right after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
9 players have teamed up and released the Alabama Team Paper, which is a video yearbook they put out for sale direct to fans. Now, for the first time, small dollar purchases from the fans can support the players as a group as well as a great cause, because $1 of every subscription payment is donated to the Boys and Girls Club of America. Be a 5-star fan base and support your team and a great cause with Team Paper. Check it out at teampaper.com/Alabama.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
All right, folks, we're rocking and rolling back into the action from the break. Number one ticket here for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA on a Wednesday hump day. Got my man John Ivory here in the production studio. We appreciate all that he does here. Guys, shout out my man Kenny Heathcock with that $5 donation in the Super Chats. Kenny Heathcock showing his love right here on the show. That daily Super Chat go $100 daily. Super Chat go $100 right there. We appreciate you guys for all that you do. And in terms of the message board, if you're trying to be in one of the first wave of people to help us rebuild the message board, regrow the message board, then the link to get there would be in the description and also in the chat line, that for the Touchdown Alabama Magazine message board right there. But we go to the phone lines right now to grab your calls. The call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Now I'm going to call in, let your voice be heard, 205-448-1358. You are live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from. Live on the show, caller.
What's going on, Steven? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you loud and clear now.
What's going on, man? It's your boy, Coach Smook. How you been, brother?
Man, I've been good, man. Glad to hear your voice back in here. One of the originals back in here.
Man, look, I've been missing the show, man. I finally got a day off, man. This weather acting crazy, and I'm catching it live instead of having to watch the playback. So it's glad to be heard, glad to hear you guys again, man. And, man, you guys are on a hot topic, man, with this Jalen Milroe situation being the quarterback, man.
I mean, I look at this and I go back to, our Darius Stewart mentioned that, hey, he feels like Milroe's a dog. He feels like Milroe's a guy that, you don't write this young man off. You play him, you mold him, you develop him, and let him be him. I always equate this to, you look at even when guys like Blake Sims had mistakes and Jacob Coker had mistakes and Jalen Hurts had to find his way around too, but Coach Saban stuck beside all of those guys. Lane Kiffin stuck beside all of those guys. So I think, to me, I just kind of sense Saban's going to give Milroe every opportunity here to succeed, just due to he's put in the work, he continues to put in the work, and it just feels like this team has more so gravitated to, this guy's got our back.
Yeah, and I think Milroe, not only from that standpoint, but the skill set standpoint and what Tommy Rees was able to do with the group of quarterbacks at Notre Dame, and the lack of superstar talent around him, or the lack of athleticism around him, the way Tommy Rees was able to scheme for that group of players at Notre Dame, I think he's more than happy to be able to work with any quarterback in our quarterback room right now. And I mean, all 5 quarterbacks that's on scholarship there. But if we sit Tommy Rees down and we ask him who gives him the most range as far as the amount of play calling he can get, because Tommy Rees is not going to have none of those quarterbacks, in 5-step drop situations for 60-75% of the game. A lot of their pass game is going to be based off of, the run game and play action, so, and the tight ends are going to be an early focal point for a developing quarterback in Jalen Milroe under a first-year coordinator. We know that's a quarterback's best friend, a great offensive line, which is, I believe we have a solid offensive line that is going to continue to develop. I feel like we got a great mixture of veteran and young talent. And then in the running back room, we have, experience at the first 3, out of your first 3 upperclassmen in Jam Miller, Jace McClellan, and Roydell Williams. But then you got 2 dogs in Justice Haynes and Richard Young coming in, from as true freshmen. Justice Haynes, I believe, is going to be our 1B back, just edging out Roydell and Jam for those extra carries. And, man, you talking about, you don't need a quarterback that's going to have to pass for 4,700 passing yards this season for Alabama to go to the national championship. You talking about Kevin Steele being on the other side, the type of defenses he's been able to develop and put on the field, and the amount of talent he has available now here at Alabama, being back at Alabama under Coach Saban. I feel like this defense is poised for an unstoppable year, which sets it up for an experienced quarterback who's already proven that he knows how to win. Jalen Milroe, he knows how to win. Take away the mistakes, take away the miscues, the misreads, the being put in horrible positions with play calling. Jalen Milroe is your ideal quarterback, and you're talking about a transition year, because we all know Julian Sayin is coming next year. And if Jalen Milroe decides to stay, I think after a year, like if he has a decent year, I'm saying 27 to 3,100 passing yards. We have a couple wide receivers that's going to get 800 plus receiving yards. You're going to have 2 running backs that go over 1K, I believe. I don't think Jalen Milroe has to do much, which is going to help his draft stock. And then also, Tommy Rees is going to highlight his skill sets, get him off platform, throwing on the move, using his legs, helping him, break the field in half, cut the field in half, and make it easy read, start the game off with, instead of going out trying to be an NFL quarterback, in your first start. So that's just how I take my take on it, man. I appreciate y'all for letting me call in. And once again, Roll Tide, Blue Ridge Gang, I'm back active, man. It's glad to be live. And TDA, love what y'all doing, man. Keep it going. Roll Tide, fellas.
Appreciate my man, Senator Coach Smoke Hines, calling us in, getting us started on a Wednesday. We take this call here. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, it's your boy Noah. What's up? I'm Virginia.
Hey, Noah, what's happening?
Nothing. I got something to tell you, Stephen. There's somebody's birthday's 2 more days, bub.
Hey, happy birthday to him, man.
Hey, it's my birthday, Stephen. I'll be 23. You listen to this. This is be weird to you, Stephen. You ready?
Go ahead.
My birthday's June 23. I'll be 23. You're 23. You can't believe that's weird number to you.
Hey, no,
And somebody's watching.
I mean, the number 20, the number 23 is a good number, man.
Hey, Steven, I got somebody watching your life right now, buddy. You know who is it?
Who is that?
My Big Al. He's watching a few. He's watching you right now. Big Al. He wants to hi to you.
Appreciate that right there. Appreciate that right there. Come from Noah from Virginia. Going to be celebrating his 23rd birthday. Awesome right there for him. We're going to grab this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steve, this is from Columbia, South Carolina. How you doing, man?
Doing great, Michael, and yourself.
I'm doing good. I have just a couple questions for you. I'll be quick about them.
Go ahead.
So, to start off, the receiver room, and I was talking about this with a friend of mine the other day. We had Isaiah Bond, Malik Benson, Jacoby Brooks, Jermaine Burton, Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, Galen Hale, Emmanuel Henderson Jr., Ty Jones-Bell, Shaz Preston, Jaron Hamilton, Cole Adams. Like, who do you see as the three receivers that should be starting in the first game of the season?
Three that should start in the first game against Middle Tennessee. Let's go. I want to see Benson. I think Benson should be out there, Malik Benson. I think Jacory Brooks should be out there, Jacory Brooks. And then the third one, you can flip a coin between Kobe Prentice and Isaiah Bond. You can flip a coin between those two. But again, I would go Benson, Brooks, and then a coin flip between Bond and Prentice. I would go slightly Bond just because of his speed, slightly Bond. But you can flip a coin between Bond and Prentice.
And then, do you feel like the tight end position isn't getting enough credit? Because, like, Steven, we're loaded. I mean, C.J. Dupree, Amari Nightblack, Miles Kittleman, Danny Lewis Jr., Robbie Oops, Ty Lockwood. I mean, I just don't think that they're not talking enough about the tight end position.
They are not, Michael, but I feel like this is where Joe Cox, the tight ends coach, is going to make his big money because Nick Saban talked about him. He's one of the brightest offensive minds on that staff. Coach Cox did a solid job last year with Cameron Latu, but I think the group he's got now, C.J. Dupree, who can do it all, he was rarely used at Maryland. I think Amari Nightblack and Danny Lewis grew up a lot last year. And we saw this recent spring, both of those two guys had an impact in the spring game. Miles Kittleman has come up as a receiving tight end. We know he's a good blocker coming from JUCO, but he showed he can catch the ball also. And then Robbie Oots showed last year he can catch the ball. And then you have Ty Lockwood. So people are not talking much about the tight end room, but that's fine. You got guys on this room that can move the chains on third downs, giving you that big security blanket that your quarterback needs. But I think a lot of the money is going to be made in the red zone where these tight ends are concerned. Jalen Milroe or whoever the quarterback is having that security blanket right there in the red zone to get the ball to.
And then lastly, Steven, and I know it's not going to hurt us much, but how much does it hurt the defense with Jamil Burroughs, what happened with him?
I don't think it hurts much. I mean, and once again with Burroughs, there's nothing that's been made right now about a suspension or anything like that. He's not with the team right now currently, but if something were to come up from that to where he's not with the team anymore, I don't think it'd be an extreme detriment. Of course, obviously, losing a guy does sting your depth a little bit, but you still have Jaheim Otis. You still have Justin Boygby. You still have Tim Smith. You still have Tim Keenan. You still have Damon Payne. You still have Monkel Goodwine. You still have a litany of guys that Freddie Roach can go to and rotate with. So while it would sting the depth if you were not to have a Jamil Burroughs, but it would not be a complete detriment, no.
Thank you, Stevie. You have a great day, man.
Appreciate my man Michael calling in from South Carolina. We take this call. You're live on the show. What's happening, how we feel, and state your name and where you calling from.
What's up, man? What's happening, Uncle Charles, man?
He's back. Uncle C is in here. What's going on, Uncle Charles?
Man, I can't call it, man. Just been living day by day, man. Because you know one thing, man, we'll promise today, but we not promise tomorrow. So we have to live it like we live it. That's how it goes. But that's how it goes, player. Let me tell you something, man. How you doing, bro?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm doing great, man. And just to hear you, it has got me 10 notches better.
Man, well, hey, man, and then if it's like that, then I don't did my job. Let me just say this, man. It makes no difference who they put out there starting quarterback. If Milroe is the man, he's the man. But I don't want to talk about the football team right now. I really don't, because I'm going to say what I got to say, and I'm going to get on out of here. We need to thank Nick Saban. I think Nick Saban is a prime example of a man. When the tornado came through and it devastated our state, Nick Saban was out there with his football players out there helping out the people that needed help. We need to show him more love. Even during a loss, we need to show him more love. And Nick Saban, it's the same as when he got there, and it'll be the same when he leaves. I don't know what this state going to do when Nick Saban says, I'm going to call it quits. Boy, it's going to be some crying folks, and I'm going to be one of them. And let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something. We need to take care of ourselves spiritually, and we need to take care of ourselves mentally. You know, I try to tell my friend he got 2 left feet, and he try to walk straight into Walmart, and then we find him on the side of the building running into it. I don't know what's going on with people, but people acting like they're crazy, jumping off houses, and they expect the ground not to be there when they do. And you rolling around talking all kinds of crazy stuff because that ground didn't move. This is what you get when you're acting crazy. If you're crazy, go get some help because there's plenty out there. Let me tell you something. I love this team. I've been loving the Alabama Christmas Tide team ever since I was a little boy. See, everybody in the house, I'm an Alabama fan. My dad in Alabama, my mom in Auburn, my brother in Auburn, and my other brother in Auburn. So you know it's a house divided. But that's all right. As long as we come out on top, we don't have to worry about hearing their mouth for the whole year. And that's all I got to say, man. Appreciate you, bro.
Uncle Charles calling in on a Wednesday, giving us our laughter, giving us our excitement, giving us our entertainment. Gotta love Uncle Charles when he calls in. We're gonna take this call here. You're live on the show. What's going on? How are you feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Hey, Steven, it's Sishi calling from Atlanta.
Here we go. We got our next showstopper in here. Sishi, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, great. Okay. All right. Well, I won't take up too much time, but I did want to at least talk with you about the defense in particular, and more so about just like the defensive scheme that we should, at least from our perspective, that we should anticipate. So now that we have Kevin Steele and we've kind of, shifted some things around from the coaching side of things, I was just kind of thinking back on like the guys that we got even a couple years ago that are still there. So whether it's like Quandarius Robinson, I think Keanu, Michael, and just more so from like the defensive end perspective. And I'm just like, honestly, like I'm looking at like the 2022 guys, so that whether that's like Curtis Perry, Jeremiah Alexander, but not just that, the guys we have coming in with this class, like the Hunter Osborns, Quay Russo, all of them, Keon Keeley, Yonsei Pierre. So I'm curious, like, and this may be applicable to both the defense and the offense, but I'm curious when it comes to our strategy, when we're strategic about this, in my mind, I think that we should be focused on creating packages. So whether that's like I don't care what, level, whether that's, a senior, a freshman, whatever, the seniority, I'm looking at, we want the best of the best, the strong side, the weak side. They're going to have to figure out who's going to replace Will Anderson, but I'm thinking like, what's the best strategy in your opinion? I know that it's, to some degree, I guess based on like the offense on the other side of the ball, whether they have a tight end or whatever the case may be out there. But what's your perspective, like based on the names that I've given so far, and how do you think that we should go about this?
I feel like, Sishi, the one thing that's just, in my opinion, would be is you definitely want to look at how the offense across the ball is coming out there, what type of personnel groupings that they are using. But then along with that, it just depends on if this is I take it by down basis. So if it's first down, And this team, percentage-wise, they love to run the ball on first down, but I would kind of have my heavy package out there, whether that's Jaheim Otis out there, with Jamil Burt, with Justin Boyd out there, a couple of those heavy package guys. You can get a stop there on first down. It's like second and long. You know, you're seeing a different package out there. Maybe you still have one or two heavy guys on the field, but start getting your faster guys out there that can affect the quarterback. But, of course, you know, third and long, you definitely want your fast guys out there. So I think, to me, it just depends on the down and distance of a type of offense that you're playing, and then, bringing in which package can help Alabama get the result that it wants. Whether you want a sack on this play, whether you want a tackle for loss on this play, if you're trying to create a turnover on this play, which package gives you the best percentage to put you where you want to be at. But I definitely want to see more guys rotated, more guys used in different sub packages, because you got too much talent out there to not play them.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. I agree. And that's what I was thinking when I was looking at just the depth. And honestly, you know, it's a blessing to have the level of depth that we have, even with the secondary. So when I look at like the safeties and the cornerbacks, honestly, this is what we need. And I think we're strong in both areas. I'm curious how they design, you know, these packages that we're calling it. So like cornerback side, whether it's Earl Little Jr., if we're going to throw in Jaleel Hurley or Des Ricks, or, you know, maybe stick with Kool-Aid. I just feel like there's a good scenario to rotate them in and out. And even with the safeties, I know that I think Antonio Kite, I don't know if he's still redshirted, but of course, Caleb Downs, Tony Mitchell, Jake Pope, I can't wait to see him out there. But I'm curious how they draw up the schemes, because when you look at it like, let's say like man-to-man coverage or cover 2 or cover 3, I'm curious if they're going to kind of just see like which players are stronger with which play. You know what I mean? Like maybe they'll look at it from that perspective. So if they want to do like man-to-man coverage, maybe there are a couple guys that are stronger suited there versus like maybe cover 3 or, you know, just whatever. But what do you think about that?
I look at it. They look at the different matchups they can get, but then also I think Saban also likes the secondary, just a size matchup also. Like if I'm facing a speed receiver, and if their speed receiver is their best guy, which one of my fast corners can match up with this guy to not just run with him stride for stride if this guy's running a 4-2 or a 4-3, not just run with him, but also can be physical with him to maybe reroute him without getting a penalty flag. Or if their best receiver is a 6'3", 6'4 guy that's physical, who's my best corner that can match him stride for stride and then box out, turn back and locate the football. So yes, you want to look at cover 3, cover 2, cover 0, and just pick matchups that way. But I think also along with that, Saban looks at the personnel on the field. If their speed guy is their best guy, who's my fastest corner that can also give them some physicality? If a taller receiver is their best guy, who's my best corner or safety that's got some length on him that can match that also?
All right. Well, thanks, Stephen. That was helpful, and I think I'm going to end it there because I can keep it going, but I don't want to do that today.
Appreciate C. from Atlanta calling into the show, giving us her thoughts here in my own words on a Wednesday hump day. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Steve, what's up with you, man? This is Jay from Florence.
I mean, today is an awesome Wednesday. We got Uncle Charles, we got C, and now we got my homeboy Jay. Jay, what's happening?
Chilling, man. I like the last caller there. She talk about depth. That's what we gonna need, because we gonna have to win 125 games to get to the national championship, man.
Depth is important, man. Depth is very important this year, and especially when you talk 2024, where you go to 16 teams, you got no division. So these next 2 years and years to come, Bama gonna definitely depend on that depth.
Man, I hope we start this year with it, man, because we got 12 D linemen that got to play, man. Like Curtis Perry and all them guys, like they got to see the field this year. And man, I feel like we putting the cart in front of the horse with these coordinators, y'all. We got to slow down a little bit, because the last coordinators, they came in all hyped up, and everybody was, oh, Bill O'Brien, he's such a great offensive coordinator. Look what he did with Brady. You see what I'm saying? And that whole little sentence right there just made that man whole 20-year career in the NFL. You ruined the Texas organization. Then 20 years at Bama, you ruined us. Like, come on, man. We got to step back and just look at these people for who they was. Because last year, Kevin Steele didn't do too good at Miami. He didn't. And you playing in the ACC where you ain't going against no top quarterbacks for real. You didn't go against no top quarterback last year. And you didn't have a top 10 defense. You see what I'm saying, Steve? So, like, we giving these folks a lot. But we got to take a little something, too, now. Because I ain't skipping over, when he was at Auburn. Well, when he was at Auburn, Auburn was Auburn. That's 5 years ago. Let's talk about last year. Tommy, you didn't look too good. You know what I'm saying? You had a chance to get against Ohio State, and your offense got bullied. Them folks was reading you like an open book. You see what I'm saying, Steve?
Got to keep it both sides of the coin. So you're right about that, Jay. You got to give both sides of the coin.
Man, I just want my Bama family to really not get too high, man. If we come out and we run the ball 60 times against Middle Tennessee State, then we'll know. You know what I'm saying? We'll know. We going back to the old Alabama way. But if we come out there and we see this man RPOing and the little screen game to the sideline, all that, man, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty football. We don't want to play pretty football. Or at least I don't want Alabama to play pretty football no more. We done played it long enough. We know we can do it and look okay doing it, man. We need to go back to our way and go set the tone for the rest of the decade, Steve. I love y'all roll tide.
Yeah. Rest of the decade, Jay from Florence. Let's do it. Appreciate Jay calling in, giving us his thoughts, being the realist as he is. And you have to have a realism with that too. You got to have a realism with it, having both sides of the coin. So appreciate Jay for that. We grabbed this call. You're live on the show. What's happening? How we feeling? State your name and where you calling from.
Oh, Mike from Chicago. What's going on, Steve? Roll Tide.
Doing great, Mike, and yourself?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Hey, I think everybody, need to calm down again, as we say. It seems like everybody feels we're going through some kind of gigantic rebuilding. Again, as I said, we had 1 year, we lost in the championship. Then lose it, go over 10. We lost in the championship. 1 year, 11-2, and those are 11-2 because of 2 last-minute losses. But the thing that I think this year is going to be a big turnaround that nobody's thinking about, which is that most of the tough games are going to be at home.
Good point.
You think you're going to have Texas at home. We're going to have LSU at home. We're going to have Ole Miss at home. Then who else is going? It's one more that's going to be at home.
Arkansas.
100,000 crowd yelling. Arkansas, exactly, at home. Them 100,000 yelling and screaming. Those last-minute losses can turn into last-minute wins with the help of the crowd. Being at home can definitely make the difference. So all the tough games that were tough last year because we were on the road. It's hard to play. I mean, you get Tennessee, you got 100,000 screaming. It's tough. It's tough to play at LSU with 100,000 screaming. Flip it this year. We will have a better schedule this year. Again, Alabama is not in a rebuild mode. Texas A&M is in a rebuild mode. They went 5 and forever. We're talking about 11-2, 12-1 seasons. Pump the brakes. We will do well. We will perform this year. CFP, here we come. Roll Tide.
Appreciate Mike from Chicago calling in there, and appreciate my man Eric Beasley for dropping in that $20 donation. The Super Chats showing love right here. Eric Beasley, appreciate you, sir, helping us out here on the show. And all of you guys calling in. A great day so far. Heard from my man Jay from Florence, Uncle Charles, T-She, Mike from Chicago. Great day. Great Wednesday. Gotta go to a cool call topic right here, John. This one's on one. Will Anderson, former Alabama linebacker, number 3 overall pick in this recent NFL draft by the Houston Texans. He's been tearing it up in Texans off-season workouts, whether that be, the rookie minicamp, the mandatory or the organized team activities or OTAs, and now the mandatory minicamp. And he's been doing so well that you have a lot of Texans fans asking themselves, Could this guy be the defensive rookie of the year? He could be, depending on how well he plays in his rookie season. J.J. Watt, former Texan legend, NFL legend also, he was at camp for the Texans, and he called Will Anderson a phenomenal talent and a guy that he cannot wait to see what DeMeco Ryans does with him on the field. So Anderson continuing to push, continuing to progress, and you got fans out there wondering, is this young man, could this young man be the defensive rookie of the year for those Houston Texans? Well, guess what, buddy? We shall see. But we take a break right here, folks, on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we return to having a conversation on this Alabama team is bonding more and more than recent teams. Is this team, because of the off-field bonding, or are we seeing the ingredients of a national championship team in the making? We'll talk about it after this.
What's up, Bama Nation? This is Rudy Griffin, former Alabama defensive lineman, and you're listening to my guy, Stephen M. Smith, in my own words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide, roll!
Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
We are back, folks, rocking and rolling to the action from the break on a Wednesday, hump day, hottest show in these streets. Number one ticket here for your Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA, moving into the offseason. My man John Ivory in the production studio. Continue tapping the like button. You know what I'm saying? Thumbs up. Hit that like button there. Hit the subscribe button as well. We are 10 likes away from 75. So continue hitting that like button, tapping that thumbs up there. We appreciate that support. Hit that subscribe button. That daily super chat goal, $100 daily super chat goal right there. And if you want to be in the first wave of people to help us rebuild the message board, Touchdown Alabama Magazine, the link to the message board in the description, in the chat line, touchdownalabama.com, link to the message board right there. They're trying to help us rebuild the message board. But we're back in here, John, to the conversation, and this is on something different about this Alabama team in the last few years. And what I'm referring to is a lot more team bonding, a lot more team activities, a lot more team interaction. And we've seen in the past when Alabama has won a national championship, whether it was the BCS era with Coach Saban or right now the college football playoff era, but teams that had that camaraderie, that tangible chemistry off the field, it was those teams that ended up winning national championships. You go back to 2009, that defense had a tangible chemistry. It was, Rolando McClain knew what Brandon Dederick was going to do, and they knew what Terrence Cody was going to be like. Everybody just knew what everybody was. Everybody knew everybody's personality and mentality. And it led to what? That national championship. 2011, everybody knew everybody's mentality. Whether it was Courtney Upshaw knew what Donta Hightower's mentality was. Whether it was, Dre Kirkpatrick knew what Mark Barron's mentality was. Offensively, Trent Richardson knew what Eddie Lacy's mentality was. And even though you had a young A.J. McCarron, from a quarterback perspective, he grew into those things also. And that 2011 team, because they were a tight-knit group, along with that, of course, unfortunate tornado that happened, you still won a national championship. You look at 2012 in the back-to-back, 2012, that camaraderie, that bond, that closeness, a national championship. 2015, how close that team was, won a national championship. 2017, In 2020, 2020, you kind of had to be close because it was COVID, and they were all in a bubble. You couldn't go anywhere because of fear of if you go somewhere, you may contract COVID. So that kind of made you be close. But be that as it may, those teams were close, tight-knit groups. And it made for national championships because you knew he has my back, I have his back, the coaches have the coach's back and the players' back, the players have the players' back and the coach's back, and the players policed everything on those teams. So you look at this year's group, there's a lot of team bonding going on, more than what I've seen in years past. This team, they've been bowling together, they've been top golf together, they've been paintball gun fighting together. Recently, they just went bass fishing. Like they're doing everything together. And it's not just, a few players. It's all of the position groups. It's the coaches. Like they're all together. They're all understanding the assignment. And the assignment is get back to being mean, get back to being nasty, get back to being physical, get back to being aggressive, get back to playing the style of football that we know how to play. And doing that at the highest level to win. So it's been several team bonding things. It's been awesome, been incredible. This is good to have. This is really, really, really good to have. And, Coach Saban knows the best teams are the ones that are player-led. The best teams are the ones where Saban doesn't have to say nothing. The players can get up and direct the entire room. The players can get up and direct the entire temperature. The players can get up and direct everything that's going on. Those are the teams that have been the national championship teams where you have 5, 6, 7, 8 players that tell Coach Saban, Coach, we got it. We appreciate you, Coach. We got it. This is our team. We gonna run this. We got this. And all Coach has to say is, have at it. And those players, they have at it. There may be a few come to Jesus meetings, but in those come to Jesus meetings, everything gets squashed. Everything gets squared away. All the beef is laid out there in the front, and the problems are handled. So Saban knows the best teams when it comes down to national championships for Alabama, player-led. But here's the question here. The chemistry that this team is establishing, can it be the chemistry to lead this group to a national championship? Because that's the big thing. Will all of the bowling experiences and bass fishing experiences and paintball gun experiences and top golf experiences and being around your teammates, helping build houses for Habitat for Humanity, those experiences, and then the experiences you're about to have once fall camp rolls in here in August, where you're going up against each other in the grinding heat, hitting and popping and going after each other. Will all of those experiences and team bonding lead to this group winning an SEC championship, getting back to Atlanta, handling business there, and then most importantly, getting back to the college football playoff and winning? Because when it leads to that, then that team bonding means a lot. Then that team bonding goes a long way because you're all in it for one mission. And that one mission is we winning it all. That one mission is we taking this to the bank and getting cash money deposit off this thing right here. When you're all in it together like that and it goes into fruition that way, that's the expectation, is winning the national championship. So I'm loving the team bonding. I'm loving the team activities. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing when I look at the different things on social media. My hope and prayer is this leads to these guys coming so close together that, it's everybody coming at the opponent and the opponent scared to death. And it's Alabama getting this to a national championship. But as far as on the surface, enjoying the team bonding here. We're going to take another break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we continue with phone calls. We continue with your conversations. What do you think about the team bonding? What do you think about the team gelling together, being around each other, forming this camaraderie? How do you feel about it? We'll get your thoughts after this.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Marvin Constant, All-SEC linebacker and 1999 SEC champion. You are listening to In My Own Words, brought to you by Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Roll Tide.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right. We're rocking and rolling back in here to the action on Wednesday, hump day from the break. Number one ticket for your Crimson Tide football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of TDA. Happy to be here with my man John Ivory in the production studio. Continue tapping the like button. Give us that thumbs up there. We appreciate all support from every last one of you. Appreciate you guys helping us hit that daily super chat goal of $100. I see the ticker. So we got that goal there. So appreciate all of you guys for what you did, helping us out there and announcing that goal. Jimmy the Bad Man Clay put some money in there. Jimmy with $75 donation in there. Dropped in $25 first. Then came back with another $50. We got the daily super chat goal, man. Appreciate Jimmy Clay and all that donate today. Thank you for making this your spot here to talk all things Crimson Tide football. You're trying to be in that first wave of fans helping us grow, rebuild this message board. The link to the message board for Touchdown Alabama magazine, touchdownalabama.com, can be found in the description and in the chat line. So hit the link. It'll take you right there. If you're trying to be in that first wave of fans to help us here at TDA, we grow here this message board with your conversations talking Crimson Tide football. But we're in the call segment here, brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. The number to call in to let your voice be made known on the show, 205-448-1358. The number there on screen as well. As you guys are getting your thoughts to call in here, we're going to actually go to a cool call topic, and that's on, so the team, I don't know, John, if it was yesterday or the day before, but the summer photo shoot happened to get us prepared for the fall. So what is the media day photo shoot for the team? It's where all the players, they take pictures inside, they take photos inside the Alabama player facility with their jerseys on. So several of these players, all of these players, most of them, took their photo shoot today. If you go on Instagram, if you go on Twitter, you'll see a lot of these photos, whether it's Jahad Campbell, whether it's Malik Benson, whether it's Deontay Lawson, Darian Dalcourt, Tyler Booker, so many players, Isaiah Bond, Kobe Prentice, Kendrick Blackshire, Jalen Key, just so many players taking their pictures with them in their jerseys, in their uniforms. They're looking fierce, they're looking ready to go. And a lot of these guys, they know that either it's their last go around at Alabama, or it's their first year at Alabama, or it's year 2 or year 3 for them for the Crimson Tide. They know that the idea this season, got to get back to the college football playoff after 2 years of not winning a championship and 1 year of not even making the playoff. They know the chase, the goal, get back to the playoff, and then finish off with winning a national championship. So if you haven't seen the photos yet from the players in the summer photo shoot, then definitely go to Instagram and Twitter. They're all over social media. These players are ready to go here for the upcoming season. But we got to show some love to Dale B. with that $20 donation in the Super Chats. Appreciate Dale B helping us out here on the show. We're going to take our final break right here, folks. When we get back, we tidy up loose ends. We wrap things up with a very intriguing conversation on Jalen Key, Alabama transfer defensive back from UAB. He's got his new number. What number is it for him? Can he live up to that number? The significance of it? And where will he fit in this safety room for Alabama? We'll discuss Key after this.
I'm Malachi Moore, and you're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith on Touchdown Alabama YouTube channel.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, people, we appreciate all of you checking us out on today. All the super chats, donations, phone calls. We had all the All-Stars calling today, John. Uncle Charles, D-She, Jay from Florence, Mike from Chicago, Michael from South Carolina. We had all the All-Stars calling in today. Makes me feel good there. Feel fantastic right there. But continue hitting that like button, tapping that thumbs up right there, showing support for the show. Tap that subscribe button as well. Get everybody that you know to hit that subscribe button. We're at 84 likes. Keep hitting the thumbs up. Let's shoot for that 100, that 100. Continue hitting the like button. Tap that like button right there. Thanks to all of you. But we wrap things up, John. Alabama, one of its two new defensive transfer portal guys, has a new number, that being one Jalen Key, transfer safety from UAB, has a new number. He will wear number 22. It'll be number 22 for this upcoming season, one Jalen Key, coming over from UAB, 44 games of experience, a guy that this past season, 60 tackles from his safety position, 4.5 of those for loss, did have 3 interceptions. And the question for him is, does he live up to the significance of that number 22? Because there's a lot of numbers for Alabama football that have a ton of significance, right? You look at numbers like number 12, right? Joe Namath wore that number. Ken Stabler wore that number. Greg McElroy wore that number. There's a lot of significance to number 12. A lot of significance. When you look at numbers like number 4, you've had Jerry Jeudy wear that number. You had Tyrone Prothro wear that number. When you look at number 2, David Deuce Palmer wore that number. Derrick Henry wore that number. There's a lot of significance here with these numbers. Number 32 is a very significant number. When you talk, C.J. Mosley wore that number. Rashaan Evans wore that number. You had Dylan Moses wore that number. He started out doing great with it, got hurt, the ball kind of dropped, and now we're looking at Deontay Lawson as an in-state kid. Then you kind of bring that number back. So when you discuss number 22, that's a significant number. When you talk about players like Major Ogilvie, wore that number. You look at Tony Nathan, wore that number, 22. You look at Mark Ingram, first Heisman Trophy winner, wore that number. DJ Hall, people forget how great he was as a wide receiver, wore that number, 22. Here recently, Najee Harris, Alabama's all-time career leader for rushing yards and rushing touchdowns, wore that number. Here is Jalen Key wearing this number, 22. Will he represent the number well? That number comes with big significance. Will he rep it well? Will he represent it correctly? In that number 22, can he do some big things? Can he do some special things? Can he make some marquee plays here for this Alabama team? Because he's in the secondary, especially in the safety position where there is a lot of competition. You're going up against Malachi Moore in practice, trying to get a spot. You're going up against Caleb Downs in practice, trying to get a spot. You're going up against Christian Story in practice, trying to get a spot. You're going up against Jake the Hitman Pope in practice, trying to get a spot. You're going up against Devontae Smith, the defensive back, in practice, trying to get a spot. You're even going up against the likes of Tony Mitchell in practice, trying to get a spot. So for Jalen Key, how will he factor into the safety position at Alabama when you're trying to become a starter here, on the field for the Crimson Tide as a transfer? That'll be something that we will all have our eyes on. Be something that we'll all be looking with great anticipation because, of course, when you have a DB coach, a secondary coach like Travaris Robinson, he's going to get you ready. He's going to get you prepared for what you're going to face. But as a player, when you're entering a room with so much competition, it's what is your mentality? Where is your wherewithal? Where is your mindset? How do you feel about coming into all of this? And are you set to either beat everybody out to become a starter? Or even if you don't beat everybody out, are you set to fall into your role, whatever that role may be, and play winning football for Nick Saban and the University of Alabama? But as always, folks, you want the best in news, notes, information, coverage on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You download the app from your iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you got the Android phone for your audio needs. Check us out, iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn Radio, Overcast.fm, or iHeartRadio. We got you covered. The good and gracious Lord sees fit. I'll try to be back on Friday, continuing the conversation that is Tide football. Remember, Bama fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Have those sent to your door. That link found in the description. If you're trying to get your hands on the newest edition or the freshest edition of TDA the magazine, you go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member and or a subscriber today. That link in the description as well. But gotta shout out you guys, the incredible fans of Bama football, for all the love today. All the phone calls today, all of the chats today, all the donations today. You doing what you do, making this your spot here to talk nothing but Bama football. Gotta shout out my man John Ivory in the production studio, handling that business there from behind the scenes. And until next time, folks, husbands, love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands, children, even on summer vacation. Continue doing the right thing, fun thing, smart thing, good thing, legitimate thing too. Not be bored there. Get yourself those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. You protect yourself. You protect the loved ones around you. Till next time, folks, I'm your man Stephen Smith, and you've been listening to In My Own Words.